Hi, welcome to Student Voice. I'm Donna Pickering. If you love traditional country music, then you're in for a treat today. We'll be talking with one of the most respected and well-known recording producers in the business. Not only has he produced, arranged, and recorded with some of the top names in country music, like Jerry Lee Lewis, Louise Mandrell, She Daisy, Earl Thomas Conley, and others, but he also owns a couple of recording labels and is a renowned musician and songwriter himself. So, Mike, how long have you been in the recording business?
Well, first of all, Donna, I want to thank you for having me here today, and it's a pleasure. I have been in the recording business for about 40 years, right at 40 years. 40
years, so that's quite a while. How did you get your first big break? Did you start out as a musician, or?
Yes, I was a musician from, well, actually a professional musician from age 20 on, and I started playing when I was 13 years old. So when I got out of high school, my ambitions and aspirations were to become a professional musician, which I achieved within a couple of years after graduating. And I was a radio announcer, a DJ for a while in the interim there. And so I was constantly around music from the time that I graduated to today.
Well, what made you decide to start producing records?
Well, that kind of evolved. It was, I never had the aspiration as I was growing up in the music business to be a record producer or to have anything, even a studio. I didn't have that aspiration at first. Just to be a musician and to play with people like the ones you have mentioned earlier. And so as things evolved in my career, I saw the need for a recording studio in the locale where I grew up there. And actually, 1977, I opened one in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And just included in with what I did in the studio, along with being a recording engineer, I found that a lot of people, artists and songwriters who came in, needed some direction and some expertise that I could offer. And so that's where the producing and arranging came in. And so I grew in that as the studio grew.
Okay, so it was basically to help out other
That's right.
Other people.
Yes.
You've also worked with some pretty big names like, Johnny Cash and the others that we've mentioned. What was it like working with these big country stars, and do you have any stories or experiences you'd like to share?
I could tell some stories, and there wouldn't be enough time on this video for that, but it was, that was back in a golden period in country music, and I was just part of it, although be it a small part. I just took it for granted at the time, and then working with those big names, I was certainly appreciative of it, and it was an awesome opportunity, and I have some fond memories of it, but at the time it just seemed part of what I was doing, so it was a natural thing. And now that I look back on it, it was an awesome time in my career, and I probably didn't appreciate it enough at the time.
It probably helped you out a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about local artists? Do you work with them now? Or?
Oh, absolutely. That's been one of my pet passions over the years, is taking an aspiring artist, which have been quite a few from the local area here that I thought really had some talent. And there for a period of about 10 years, I had Country Discovery Records. And so when I saw an artist that had potential in the traditional country music field, then I would take those artists under my wing and produce some records on them, some CDs, as it were, or tapes previous to that. And then with the record company, I would promote those artists in Europe and throughout actually it was far bigger than Europe. It was throughout Scandinavia and Australia, New Zealand, and some in Canada and other areas, but I never focused on the United States, just outside the United States, because it was such an easier market to break into than the United States.
Oh, really? Wow, okay. Well, also, your wife, Terry, who couldn't be with us today, she's done some songwriting with you as well. Has she also been a part of other aspects of your career?
Absolutely. We've been married 23 years at this point, and she has been, first of all, an inspiration to me, and has inspired and encouraged me to do certain things that I wouldn't have done otherwise. But she's also been an integral part of the record companies that we've had, and she did a lot of promoting with those, and is responsible as much as I am for some of the artist success that we've worked with. And she was an excellent promoter back when we had Country Discovery Records and were working in the international community.
Okay. Do you think it's easier to get into the recording industry today than it was back then?
In one respect, absolutely. You said the recording industry, right?
Well, recording or music.
Or
yeah.
music, okay. To get into recording today, then all you have to do is get some software, put it on your phone, and you know that you can cut records right on your phone. And of course, there's a lot of computer-based technology, and you can do that from your bedroom at home. But there is a difference in end quality between a standalone recording studio and the equipment that they have, along with the expertise that comes along with that. There's a difference in the sound, and
Right.
It's pretty identifiable.
Because one of the things that you had mentioned before was that people come from all over the world to your home studio just because of the quality, the sound quality that you give their music or CDs, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
This started about 20 years ago when I was working with an artist named Benny Berry, and he became quite popular in Europe, and all of his CDs had my name on it and the recording studio, and so it began with him, and with a record company in Ireland that I worked closely with called Hawk Records. And so artists began to come in from just about all the countries of the free world. And so I've had an opportunity to work with those over the years. And back then, the US dollar was not quite as
Like
valuable as it is now. And so it was financially possible and made good sense for them to come here to record. So that was a good period.
There's still a few that do that, though.
Yeah, I
right?
still
Yeah.
have some.
And I know that a few years ago that you moved your studio, because you had a studio out there in was it Jasper or Kimball, and a few years ago you moved your studio to your home, and I was wondering if that had any impact on your business at all.
Well, it allowed me to spend a lot more time with clients and in the studio when I made the move, because of a vision problem and driving at night. Then it was necessary to move the studio, and so after I did that, I could work at night, or other times when I wouldn't otherwise be able to drive out to the studio in Jasper there. But it affected it in positive ways as far as I'm concerned, not negative. It got me out of the mainstream public eye, and so that was a good thing. But also, when I was in the public eye, there were a lot of distractions. You know, if the door was open, you never know who was going to walk in or what situation you were going to get into.
Right.
And so,
I remember that.
yeah. So anyway, that's been alleviated, and I just like this situation a lot better.
So it's set up pretty much the same way, right?
Yes, it's basically the same equipment or kind of equipment that I worked in, even though the rooms were bigger in the other studios, and the space is smaller. In this one, it's much more efficient, I think. I like the smaller
It also
rooms.
makes it more convenient for everybody. Right.
It is a lot more convenient for me, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, let's see. Oh, what kind of, can you tell us a little bit about your studio, what kind of services you offer there?
The services I offer are broad because if it requires recording, I do it. I've had some interesting situations in recording sessions in the past. For instance, Native American drum corps,
Oh, okay.
high school bands, attorneys who want to do talk tapes, and ministers, and so if it requires a microphone and recording it, then I'm open to do that.
Okay. You've also recorded a book as well, right?
I did a children's book, yeah.
So anything
visual and audio.
anything that needs to be recorded, you can do that in your studio.
That's right.
Okay, that's great. And we already talked about the sound quality. So a lot of people that are making have these home studios in the home and making their own recordings. They're using smaller, less expensive equipment, and that does affect the sound quality as far as, I guess, the size of the equipment, or?
Yeah, the sound quality, just the sound quality, not necessarily the quality of the music that you're recording,
Okay.
but the sound quality starts at the microphone, and it continues all through the signal path. And the better elements you have in the signal path, the better your sound is going to be on the end product. And so that's the advantage of a professional recording studio, when every element of the audio chain is of true studio quality.
Right, and that's why you get a lot of people coming to you.
Yeah,
So,
I suppose so.
yeah. Before we wrap up, is there any type of advice that you can give to anyone who is looking to get into the recording or music business today?
Well, if you want to get in the recording business, start out with something affordable. And like I say, you can do it on your phone, and that's a good place to start. And then you can see where that takes you. And you asked about getting into the music business earlier, and I said there were certain aspects that were easier today. Well, the internet has opened up opportunities in every phase of the music business and the recording business. So you can actually do a recording on your phone and post it to YouTube from your phone, and so the whole world is out there if you can let them know and get them directed to your links and your site.
Yeah, it's pretty much opened up for everybody, because I guess today anybody can do or be anything they want to be, and it's not closed off to just the bigger, companies and corporations. So
That's exactly right.
it's a lot easier.
Everybody can be on YouTube, on Facebook, on social media of all types, and I truly believe in self-promotion. You don't have to be an egomaniac to do good self-promotion.
Right. Okay, well, can you let people know how they can get in touch with you?
Well, there are various ways. You could call me at 423-364-9061. You can email me on, among other email addresses, the one I check most often and depend upon is steelfodder@aol.com. That's STEELFODDER@aol.com. I'm on Facebook. You can look up Mike Hedrick or Mikron Recording Studio. And my Facebook site will have a picture of me playing the steel guitar, so that's how you can tell me from the Mike Hedrick that's a newscaster in Utah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mike Hedricks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being with us.
Thanks so
and
much
taking
for
the
having
time
me.
to be here with
Yeah,
us, and
I
we
enjoyed
really
it.
appreciate it. Okay, well, that's it for this episode of Student Voice. For more information about the studio, visit mikehedrick.com or micronrecording.com. Have a great day.